Hello, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful night with the Angriest Man in Orlando. No, it is not Tuesday, it is Wednesday. I purposely did not do a show last night to let a couple of tonight's stories kind of flush out and see what was going to happen because I want to give out proper news on a proper news channel. So, without further ado, I am your host, Anthony, the angriest man in Orlando. And I'd like to thank everyone who is going to be watching this and now listening in. This is Tuesday's show on a Wednesday. We got all our stories straight. We got everything rolling over here. So let's get into it. We got a few great topics to go over, and we will break them down into some highlights. We got some visuals for everyone to look at with that. So, the title of tonight's show is called Grifting Using God. We've found a few things that have seemed to be coming up over the last couple days that seem to be people grifting using God. And hey, you know what? You want to make $1? That's cool. That's great. You can grift all you want. But let me just say this: grifting using God is probably a new low and probably not the way you want to live your life. Now, grifting can be many forms. It can simply be saying, God has sent me as a messenger, or God is running through me, or I feel God, so listen to me while I charge you. It is multiple ways. Now, let me start by prefacing that I do not believe I grift using God. I'm not grifting for this show. I'm not asking for anything from the show. I make the show myself, love doing the show. It's a labor of love, really. And it's something that is financed by me, doesn't need any money, doesn't need any contributions. So I just lay the facts out and let you, the audience, watch it. Figure it out on your own. See if you like what I'm saying, don't like what I'm saying, and we go from there. Normally, with something like this, I wouldn't put these names out there. I wouldn't even give them attention. But it's come to a point where it's pretty egregious, and everybody else seems to be putting their names out and pushing them and putting them at the forefront. So it's not going to give them any more attention than they're already getting. It's not going to, push their celebrity any higher than they already are. So I'm going to put them out there and I'm going to go over some stuff. And then after that, we'll go through a economic report to see how the world is doing. Go from there. And then we've got an interesting new book to read. You won't find it on any of the bestsellers lists, but it's something that came out and it's got some juicy tidbits in it. So we'll go over all that on this show tonight. Try to make it as smoothly as can be. And we'll try to keep it under an hour because I like everyone to kind of just, put the show on, listen to it. You don't really have to watch me at all. It's more like an audio podcast and just sort of get the facts of what's going on and cut out all the clutter that other shows put in to make themselves like 4 or 5 hour shows or whatever. And the ones that have facts, great. Go through them, listen to them, watch them. But here I'm just throwing out some stuff and trying to make it quick and painless for everyone who wants to listen, enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, like it, share it, subscribe and follow to hear more of it, and we'll go from there. So, first story popped up this morning actually. Came out with this guy. Now, this guy is Jelly Roll. If you don't know who Jelly Roll is, right now he is a country music. Per- mm, I don't know if I want to say that. He's a country music performer, we'll say. We'll say that. And he came out with this, I guess it was a quote from an article or something, but Fox News picked it up, put it out on Facebook, and I'll read it. Quote, God will always use the least likely messenger with the biggest message every single time. God never called the equipped, God always equipped the call. I think that I am a living manifestation of that. Unquote. That's Jelly Roll's quote. Country music star says he believes God has a bigger purpose for him and that his life is evidence of that. All right. So I tried looking this guy up to see what exactly he's done that would have him think he is the living manifestation of God's messenger or God's message. And from what I've seen, there's not a whole lot on it. And so I went into the post and put down legitimate question, what has he done? And I got a whole bunch of craziness of people just wanting to say hi to me. That's great, awesome, whatever. Got some funny posts, cool stuff. Samantha Barrett says he helps with juveniles and talks, plus donates money to them. He also goes to federal prisons and gives those men hope for their future. He serves his community and many others. Okay. Well, a lot of other BS stuff. We go through it. Nicole Maritova Zarnecki. He gave one testimony about no longer using fentanyl, and many suddenly assume that he is Christian. He's a Christian. Okay. All right. No problem. No problem. Da, 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 da. Missy Campbell wrote, he turned his life around and is helping the war on drugs. As he was once a dealer, he saved his daughter from her mom, who is an active addict, and Bunny helped every step of the way. Okay. So he was an addict. He went to jail. He goes back to jails and talks to the men to help them reform their life. Is what I'm assuming. And this person, Bunny, we can actually pull up. Uh, who I'm gonna just try to get sort of a basic description of her. Da, 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 da. Let's see if we can find where I'm selectively trying to choose something right here because well. She's been married to Jelly Roll since 2016. And let me share the screen with what I found about her. And so the couple met in 2015 and married in 2016. Wonderful. She's a successful host. She's on the Dumb Blonde podcast. Dude, Sorry about that hiccup, folks. We are back on. So, as we were going into that, we seem to have lost that page. Excellent. It wasn't really saying what I thought it was going to say. And what I've read is she was a former porn star. Okay. Adult actress, whatever you want to call it. Now she does her own podcast. Now she does her own thing. So, the gentleman here is saying he's a messenger from God, yet married a porn actress? Wait, okay. Maybe he's trying to save her. I don't know. Another rumor is they have an open marriage. Does that seem very Christian like? Not really sure. Goes to jails to talk to inmates. Isn't that kind of like the end of the road for some of these people? Like some of them are in for life. How are you reforming their lives? They can't be a contributing member to society anymore. They're stuck in jail. I think the thing that this gentleman should start doing is talking to kids. Tell them your story, explain to that so kids don't end up in jail. It's really strange why he made the quote he made. And it's really weird that this guy thinks he's the messenger. Well, I'm going to tell you what. From what I've seen and read, the messenger is going to come and not let you know they're the messenger. Okay. Things like this happen and they just sort of come around. Something changes, things go well, things go bad. And it's all for a certain reason, but it's never quite explained. You're not going to know who the messenger is. They're not going to tell you what they're doing. They're just going to simply be there and it's going to happen. Okay. The messenger does not need to make their presence known. They don't need to go on magazines or go on TV and tell people, I'm the manifestation of a messenger of God. They don't need to do any of that stuff. They just need to do what they do. That's it. So I find it really strange that this guy Jelly Roll decided to come out and state this, that he was the one. He's the guy to listen to. Well, that's kind of a load of crap because you're not going to be the person shouting the loudest. If people who have been religious know, the person who shouts the loudest is usually the one who's not doing what they're supposed to actually be doing. So, to Mr. Jelly Roll, if you'd love to come on the show and discuss it with me on how you think you are the messenger and you have the message, I'd love to have you on the show. Love to discuss it and go over whatever you're doing that maybe I didn't cover tonight. Explain your life and how you think it's making a change for people. Explain your song. I only talk to God when I need a favor. Hey, cool, whatever. People pray when things are going bad, but you certainly aren't the messenger if that's the only time you ever talk to God. So here's an open invitation to Jelly Roll. Come on the show, talk with me. We'll go over stuff. We'll see. Maybe I can give you a few pointers. I know some religious people around here. They do really good things. They aren't publicly putting it out there, but they do some really good stuff. And maybe they can give you a pointer or two. I don't know. So that's out there. That's for them. Another person who was preaching the good word to get more people was Nala Fitness. And we talked about her on the Two Men in a Room show a couple weeks ago, the Bad Girls episode, where she had said that she had found Jesus and left OnlyFans. Well, turns out that was completely fake. She is back up on OnlyFans and she is now charging $10 a month to subscribe to her OnlyFans. And she says she'll talk about God on there. So you are now charging people to hear you talk about God. Sounds like one short step away from the church. So that's the update on that one. Again, these people don't need any more advertising for them. Stop talking about them. That's the quickest way they're going to go away. Don't buy Mr. Jelly Roll's albums. He'll go away eventually. Brings up another thing I want to talk about. So, listen, God, he'll deliver his message in a way that you will know when you see it, and he doesn't need to announce when it's coming. So, go with that. The music industry is a funny thing, also. You never really see acts build up anymore. You never see the hard times of going through the dive bars and the lonely music halls where nobody showed up for a show. And you don't hear about acts going through that where they had to grind it out the first couple years to make it and then become a star. All you find out is, well, they were around for a couple of years and suddenly the biggest thing ever. I think with the advent of American Idol coming, they never quite made a star anymore. They just sort of picked a star. You let people vote on it and said, okay, well, this is the person we're going to make a star because we think most people will like this person. And it's really brought the music industry down. I mean, can you name a couple bands that you might like? Can you name some performers that you think are some of the best performers ever? If you can't, that's why the music industry is down. No one puts out anything decent anymore that's worth listening to. And a lot of people just put on the classics now and just listen to that. Same thing's happening with video games. A lot of people are now playing the classic video games from 2000s and even earlier. If you have classic video game stuff and you want to sell it, now's a good time. The market is hot. People want classic consoles and classic video games, and they want to be able to play them, and they're looking for anyone who still has them that work. Entertainment in general is really gone down, and they're looking for older stuff to watch. So nothing's really come out that's fantastic or anything, and people are actually reverting back to the classic stuff to watch. So interesting take on how this guy suddenly popped up out of nowhere the last couple of years, became a country music star, as he says. And it's like, well, what bars were you in where you were playing country music and you had to, go through the hard times and get pushed? No, they just sort of said, we like this guy. He's got a bunch of tattoos on his face. It looks cool. Let's put him into the music scene and make him a country star. Shocking that country music has made this guy almost a poster child. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, so next on, the numbers came out for this inflation report from last month, for March. We're going to share that right now. Okay, why is this here? All right, so let me kick over there, bring it up just a little bit. Consumer prices rose 3.5% from a year ago in March, more than expected. The consumer price index, a key inflation gauge, rose 3.5% in March, higher than expectations, and marking an acceleration for inflation. Shelter and energy costs drove the increase. Energy rose 1.1% after increasing 2.3% in February, while shelter costs were higher by 0.4% on a month and up 5.7% from a year ago. So that's not good. So your core inflation, your CPI, is rising much higher than expected. And that's not a good sign for anyone who is trying to watch the economy, watch the markets, try to buy a house, try to buy a new car, pay off some credit card bills. All of those things I just spoke about are going to be affected by this. And there's something else that's going to be affected: the interest rates that the Federal Reserve put out. Currently, they are around 5.25%. And there was talk of these interest rates possibly going down this year. I had previously stated I was expecting a decrease possibly in September and then possibly November and December. That would get you the 3 decreases that the Fed was looking at possibly doing. And this does kind of throw a monkey wrench into all of that. Um, with the inflation rate now looking to be 3.5%, it is not making it anywhere close to the 2% mark that the Fed was trying to achieve. So, if you're still trying to get 2% inflation and your inflation is going from 3.3 to 3.5%, it's not a good thing. And some of these numbers might actually be lower than it actually is. That's the scary part. Price of gasoline has been going up. The price of a barrel of oil has been going up due to wars still going on in other parts of the world. And this is not helping to bring down prices of anything. Um, in certain areas of the country, shelter costs have gone down. Some places have seen rent fall. Some places have seen home prices fall, but not a big enough fall to actually start affecting anything. So that in a lot of places where prices stay the same or even went up a little, it kind of doesn't correct it to bring prices down. And that's why you're seeing the inflation rate go up to a level that no one was really expecting right now. So I'm going to say there will be 2 interest rate decreases this year. I am going to pull back on it being one in September to a possibly being one in September. There is no definite way we can see in only 6 months being able to curb inflation down to 2%. Things are just still getting crazy. I think the problem is people are still wanting to buy stuff when they really shouldn't be buying stuff. We have seen a big decrease in new automobile purchases. Um, we have seen a bit of a decrease in used homes. We have seen new home sales holding steady. A lot of it is because new home builders are paying down your interest rate to buy the home. And what I'm speaking about is, let's say, Lennar Homes, big producer of new homes. They will give you some teaser rates for your interest. For the first year, 1.9. Year 2 and 3, they'll give you 2.9. And then for the rest of the loan, they'll give you 5.9%. Now they're basically just paying off the interest that would have been there and taking the hit on themselves to get you to buy the home at such a great deal. So a lot of people are still moving in and buying the new homes at a good price. Some crazy wild stuff that is coming out now is I The terminology, I guess, is like a mortgage acquisition, where you would acquire the mortgage from somebody else. There's some pros and cons to this. Currently looking into all of it and how it properly works, so I'm not gonna give all the details right now, but if you wanna know about it, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll be able to go over that in a future show and let you know how it works. But they're trying to come up with new concepts and new ways to keep people buying homes and keep people buying cars and keep people buying stuff. We saw that high-end stuff builders is what I'll call them. They've been late paying vendors and they're running out of money and they need people to still keep pumping money into this economy. And with inflation going up, the prices going up on everything, it's not going to happen like that. People are going to start ripping money out of this economy, and the inflation is going to eat up the money supply in the economy. And will it happen in time to get a rate decrease this year? I'm not so sure anymore. I'm not so sure. So I'm pulling back the forecast that there will be a rate decrease in September and stating simply, I believe there will still be at least two decreases sometime this year. So, what does this mean? Well, if you have cash on hand, it's a good thing because there's going to be some deals on stuff. People are going to get tired of waiting and try to unload stuff now. Some people are going to run out of money and try to unload stuff pretty cheaply. And you might be able to get some really great deals on stuff as long as you're not financing it. I think you'll be okay. I would say don't finance any major purchases till you at least hear the next Fed meeting and see where they're going with interest rates. Um, Funny thing is the bond rate for US bonds went soaring up today. So if you do have the cash and you're not sure what to do right now, buying a bond or T-bill or any of those instruments through the US Treasury. Don't buy it anywhere else. If someone says the email, no, 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 no. Go to the US Treasury.gov, buy it there. It would be a really great way to lock in a pretty good rate right now and keep it for a month, keep it for a year, keep it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and r- ride with that interest rate. It's not bad right now. There are some savings uh, accounts where the rates at 5% or higher. Do check that it is a bank you're investing in and not just a technological company trying to be a bank. I've seen a lot of those. Chime comes to mind. They're not actual banks. So do be careful. Make sure it is FDIC insured if you're going to put your money into it and make safe investments right now, people. It's getting crazy out there and it's really weird, really strange times we're in where up is down, left is right, and nobody knows where to go and what's really happening and crazy stuff. Like you you just saw 3.5% inflation, yet employment rate is low. There's jobs getting posted all the time. What's going on? I don't know. Maybe a lot of people are taking part-time jobs. Maybe a lot of immigrants are getting jobs that are low paying or possibly whatever they could take. Maybe that's what's showing up. But the the job market seems like it's still roaring on somehow, some way, and that does not leave a lot of room for the Fed to move on anything. So again, not great news, but put yourself in a stable position by saving money or possibly investing in bonds or bills or a good savings account. All right, so we're gonna jump off of that, and we're going into a story that again we wanted to check out this story to make sure that it was what it was saying. And I think it was what it was saying. So we're going to roll with it. The Ashley Biden diary came out, or at least somebody with the pages came out with it. So Ashley Biden is the daughter of President Joe Biden, and she had a diary. She was writing from 2017 to 2019 or so, is what the pages that are published are from. Um, the diary was then left in a home in Palm Beach. It was found by the owner. Now, there are some reports saying it was stolen by the owner, but I mean, if you leave something behind, is it really stealing? I don't know. I don't think so. It's kind of a iffy thing to kind of explain. Well, I found it. Well, you stole it. Y- You obviously left it at the home for them to get. I'm pretty sure nobody broke into a home to get this diary, so we'll let you think about that one. And so there is a call out there, and I'm not going to play the audio because I don't have the rights to it, but I'll sort of explain it from what I've heard of the call, that Ashley Biden was on the phone call, and there was an individual who had possession of the diary. The individual with possession asked point blank, Ashley, if this was her stuff. She said it was. If it could be delivered to an individual, and if it could not be delivered to an individual, she would have to get the Secret Service in to deal with this stuff. She said she didn't want to. She wanted to make this as easy as possible. So she's admitting that this diary is her diary and she wants it back. Okay. So the pages were photographed, put up. They're on archives. They're on. Let me see if I can find the source of what I'm about to show you. Archive.org/details/Ashley Biden diary is where it's posted up. The full diary, if you want to read through it. Although her handwriting is absolutely atrocious, so good luck trying to read it. But it's up there. So if you want to read it, if you want to see it, if you want to check any of the pages and what was written. But something that did come up is something very interesting. And I want to thank Dom Lucree from X for posting this. So this is one of the pages. This is page 83. And she writes some interesting stuff. Again, the handwriting's terrible, so trying my best what she's trying to say, but it starts with something grade and showing the boys my underpants. Hypersexualized at a young age. What is this due to? Was I molested? I think so. I can't remember specifics, but I do remember, let me move down a little, remember trauma. I remember not liking the Woolsacks house. I remember somewhat being sexualized with Caroline. I remember some other stuff that was marked out at a young age. Showers with my dad, probably not appropriate, in parentheses. Being turned on and it goes on. So that was from Dom Lucree's X account. The page is dated July 22nd, 2019. And so interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff. And that's just one of the things that came out of this. A lot of it is she's questioning a lot of what happened when she was a child into early preteen. Why would you write showering with your dad? Really curious on what does that mean? W- What what could it be? Now she has admitted this is her diary. She even writes in the diary, seems a little inappropriate. Might be inappropriate. So, what's going on? And it's funny when you try to search any of this stuff, it's terrible. Terrible to try to research any of this stuff. This is what took me so long to get to tonight's show. The research on this is insane. So, there's a couple sources right there. Archive.org slash backslash details backslash Ashley Biden diary has the full diary there. Again, it's hard to read. It is stranger eyes. The penmanship is terrible on it, but we have it. It's there, posted up for everyone to read. So if you're into it, read it. Again, I bring these facts up so that people have an understanding of what's going on. You're not always going to see every little tidbit that comes through on news. You're not going to see every little tidbit that comes up on, your scrolling news lines on your phone. And so sometimes people have to bring this stuff up and make a voice and be loud and bring it out so that people know what's really going on. And it's bothersome to know that this stuff isn't being put out there and investigated. It's actually being tried to be hushed up. Again, there are reports stating left and right that say, well, no, this diary was stolen and these pages are not the pages that are in there, and aliens are coming to Miami, and God knows whatever else stuff is coming on. But that's what's going on. That's what I see. It's absolutely abysmal out here. I'm angry about it. This is why we do the show. This is why I'm here. I'm angry about it. An explanation of what's in the diary and what the diary is and all this should be put out there. An explanation of what's going on in the economy, because I thought all this inflation was transitory and it was only going to last like what, 2022, and we'd be fine after that. Still paying a ton of bills for stuff that, you know, I don't want to pay those bills. Don't want to pay those bills, but I pay them because that's what you got to do. And then we have people who are making boat tons of money grifting using God. Like, really? Like, come on. Sit down, shut up. All right. God works in mysterious ways. You're not going to know when it happens. You're not even going to know if it happens. It'll just happen. So again, that's what I'm angry about tonight. A lot of craziness, a lot of stuff going on. So I held the show over. Don't have to watch it live. Just put it on. Just listen to it. Sorry about the hiccups tonight. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but I think it'll work out as it gets replayed. We'll see if we can edit that out and make it look a little better. So I want to thank everyone who does sit down and listen to the show after, watches the show after. Thank you for supporting it. It's the best way to do it. Just simply watch it, share it, listen to it. And we're going to be looking at going into a format of basically just dropping videos for this channel. I think it's better for our audience. You could just watch the video on whatever topic we're going to talk about. They'll be short, easy to listen to, and we'll go from there. Two Men in a Room will be on Thursdays, doing very well with that show. Thursday nights, 8 o'clock ish. We do some good stuff on there. So thank you everyone for watching. We're gonna close it up tonight with hope I'm around for the next show. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. There's so much more stuff we could go into. I mean, we go into the trailer for the next Joker movie. Terrible. What the hell is this? I hope it's just a dream. I hope it's just a dream. We can go into Brazil, trying to silence Twitter, X. We can go into that. Yeah. The Brazilian president supported a Supreme Court judge who wanted to know who were on certain accounts on X. And Elon Musk said, no, we're not going to tell you who are the accounts. Hey, I support him. Other people in Brazil support you. Keep it going, Elon. Again, there's a lot of stuff, so much stuff. I try to keep these shows short so you can listen to it. But if you want to investigate those stories, feel free to check those out also. And we'll be back next week with a video, or we may go live. Make sure you subscribe and follow. That way you'll get the notification of when it's put out. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week. Be safe out there and always stay angry. Have a good night, everyone.